with Joel Kosche of Collective Soul, guitarist, and he's been working at the Agile PV booth, and I just want to talk to him about whatever and see what projects. What are you working on right now?
Well, Collective Soul's taken a couple months off. You know, we use the holidays as a good excuse for that. But in March, we'll start recording a new record, and you know, hopefully we'll have that out, I guess, in the summertime, and we'll start touring. That's our plan for this year so far.
Do you have a schedule of when the record has to come out, when you go on the road?
The beauty of having your own record label is you're on your own timeline. That's also a curse too, because you tend to kind of keep pushing it off. But no, we kind of have our own schedule. I think March, April, you know, we'll probably be done in April or so. But they always want a little lead-off time to, you know, before we actually get on the road. So that'll be summertime, actually.
Are you doing some songwriting right now?
Yeah, we all write. You know, I'm using the off time to kind of demo some stuff. You know, I have a little Pro Tools rig at home, and I just keep coming up with ideas. Ed, our singer, is the primary songwriter, and he just has tons of stuff. You know, some of it he'll demo, and some of it he'll just bring to us that day. You know, when he wrote it, that morning or whatever on acoustic guitar, and we just go from there.
Now, do you typically track as a band and keep like rhythm tracks? How do you work in the studio as a band?
It does change, but I'd say the average thing that we do is, well, let's just say Ed wrote something on acoustic guitar that morning, which is very typical. Hey, I came up with this thing. He's all hot on it. It has no lyrics, but he's got a pretty good vision. We'll set up, we usually record at our houses. We have our own, everybody's got their own little rig, and Ed's stuff is real nice. So we usually we'll go to his house, set the drums up and some guitar rigs and what have you all in the same room. He'll show us the riff. We'll kind of play through it as a band, and then we'll start kind of putting it together in the studio in a proper way, you know, where we'll get the drum sounding really good and play the guide tracks in the control room so he has something to go by. And you know, if the guide track is good, we'll keep it. One thing we always do is we record all the, like if I'm recording a guitar part, I'll record the DI as well. So, man, you know, if I get my part, but I just didn't like that whatever goofy sound I had dialed up, we reamp it, or we'll use a plug-in or whatever. So that's a great thing about it.
These are really a lot of options open.
Yep, absolutely. So, you know, that's what we usually do. Hash it out, and then kind of start dialing it in track by track after.
And when you're writing, do you just get the acoustic guitar out or the electric out, or do you have like a sequencer running and you just find an inspiring beat or rhythm track? How do you work?
It's all of that, really. I think Ed, who is he mainly writes most of the songs. More and more he writes on acoustic guitar is what I notice. He does a lot of his writing on acoustic. For me, I usually kind of write on electric, I guess, most of the time. I mean, it can be acoustic, but you know, you stumble on these little things, you record them. If you have a little drum loop or something handy, or you can pull it up or whatever, you can kind of start figuring out the tempos and whatever. Sometimes it's just a melody you start humming in your head as you're riding down the road in your car. You're like, what's that melody? I think it's something good, you know. Get home and try to find it on the guitar. So it's anything, you know, just anything and everything.
What sort of gear are you using right now? Have you found in the last couple of years or months you've changed anything of what you normally play?
You mean guitar-wise?
Yeah, guitar-wise, your setup, you know, either on stage or you know, when you're recording.
Okay, well, I have several rigs. I have what I used to record with, which is an amp I built myself. It's kind of a Box AC30 Marshall kind of squashed together hybrid of craziness, and that's usually what I try to start with. And you know, the MJ guitars, a lot of you know, your typical stomp box stuff, but live I use Splon amps. They're kind of a Marshall type thing. They're guy's a really cool guy, builds great amps, and I usually use Vox AC30s live, and I'm a big Vox fan too. So,
what inspires you to build your own amp?
Working on Vox AC30s as they would blow up one after another, you know, I said, man, I'm going to learn to fix these things. And as I got into fixing the amps, you know, I was like, man, I think I can actually build one from scratch. And then I started modifying the idea, because I'm like a high gain kind of guy. I mean, I love the clean vintagey tones, but you know, for the big rock, you know, you gotta have some distortion. But I wanted it not 100 watts, you know, more like 30 something watts is good. You know, it's plenty loud enough. So that's kind of how I got into it. You know, about 10 years ago, I'm tinkering with it. You know.
So when something goes wrong on any of the amps you're carrying around, you're the guy behind it, or do you have a road crew that fixes it, or all of you go at it?
I usually am showing my guitar tech how to bias tubes and things like that. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you can hurt yourself if you don't know what you're doing in there, so I understand. I actually, you know, a long time ago, I actually did the guitar tech deal, right? I guitar tech for Steve Winwood for a while. I guitar tech for Collective Soul before I started playing with him. And so I'm just one of those guys. I like tinkering and fixing things. And, you know, my dad's a mechanic, you know, I guess I get it from him. So, yeah, so.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Joel.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Cheers.